it's Imogen. Today I'm going to be doing a plant haul of the plants that I've bought over the last month and a half or so. So if you'd like to see the 8 plants which I've bought, carry on watching. The first plant is actually one that I bought at the end of August, but I just haven't got around to showing you until now. And that plant is this Peperomia Graveolens. I saw this at a local garden centre and it just looked really interesting to me. As a species, there are loads of different types of Peperomia, all of which look different, but I really like the Graveolens leaves, which are sort of folded in half. They kind of remind me of like hard taco shells or something like that. They are a lovely bright green inside with a kind of reds, burgundy underneath. After having this plant for a month or so, I've noticed how cute the new little leaves are because they're just so small and a bit more floppy because they don't have that kind of mature hardness of the rest of the leaves yet. This plant seems quite easy to look after. I've not really had any issues with it, and for the most part I've been ignoring it and just watering when the soil's dry, but I think it's quite a cute plant and I have a feeling that it might be really easy to propagate, so I might try that. As I said, I bought it from a local garden centre and it was £5.99. The next plant is one that I did buy in September, and that is this plant right here. This is a Dracaena Marginata BICOLOUR. So unlike my other dragon tree, which has just green leaves, this actually has green leaves with a pink edge to them, which I think is really pretty and sets it apart to the other dragon trees, which can sometimes be a bit boring looking. It has 3 big trunks and lots of leaves, and I think it's maybe 3 or 4 foot tall. I bought this plant from the supermarket Lidl. They had some special buys on of some massive plants, so I think they had the Dracaenas, I think they had the normal Dracaenas as well. They also had fiddly fig, monstera, I think some other types of ficus other than the fiddly fig, and maybe some others. It was quite a few weeks ago and my memory isn't that great, but coming from Lidl, it was obviously a really good price. So this massive tree essentially was £12, but you could buy a pot for them at the same time, and when you bought them together the pot was only £3. So I paid £15 for this plant and the pot, which I think is ceramic. I think this was a really good deal, and so did the other people in Sheffield, because I went back to Lidl I think a couple of days after getting this and they were all gone, which makes sense because it was a really good price. The next plant I have to show you is possibly my favourite plant that I own. So that is this beautiful Anthurium Clarinervium, which is also known as a velvet Anthurium because of the gorgeous soft leaves. I would say they're more sort of suede-y than velvet, but either way they've got a really lovely texture to them. So this plant, I've been looking at it online, but they can get really expensive. My favourite local plant shop actually posted about them on their Instagram story, but I think they only had 1 or 2 left at the time, so I made sure to get there next day that it was open, right as they were opening up, so that I could buy this. This plant, which has 4 leaves, was £25. I think this leaf is the biggest one, followed by this leaf. This one does have a little bit of damage and a bit of yellow spotting, but it's still an absolutely gorgeous leaf. I've been eagerly watching this for any signs of new growth, because I think the new baby leaves come out a kind of orangey colour and I don't want to miss that. I'm really pleased that I now own a velvet Anthurium, and a really beautiful one at that. I know other varieties like the Magnificum and the Gloriosum can get really massive, but getting one that's a bit smaller just means that I've got more space for more plants. The next plant is another supermarket buy, so that is this Tradescantia, which I think is known as a Cobweb Tradescantia because it has sort of a white fluffy texture over all of the leaves, but that makes the leaves really soft and lovely. I bought this plant from Morrisons, and for the plant and the pot it was only £5. I haven't actually seen this type of Tradescantia anywhere else, either in person or online, so I thought that was quite a good deal. Morrisons actually often have quite good deals on plants. I've got quite a few in my collection from there, so I definitely recommend checking out their plant section if you're ever at the supermarket. Back to this plant, it has lots of stems with lots of leaves coming off. This is another one that I think might be quite easy to propagate, like most Tradescantias are, but I haven't had a go yet. I have given away some cuttings actually for plant swaps, and I'll show you what plants I swap them for next, but I imagine that the cuttings would be pretty fast to root. This reminds me of some of the sort of hairy cacti, but these leaves are still soft to the touch, whereas the hairy cactus varieties are still cacti and have spines, so aren't really ones that you want to run your thumb over. I think this plant is quite cute, and the pot is also a decent one. I mean, it's just plain white with a sort of cork band around the bottom, but it's always nice when you get a plant with a pot that's included in the price. But yeah, that is the Cobweb Tradescantia. So I said I'd show you what I swapped the Tradescantia cuttings for, and that is these two little babies. So firstly, I have these two little plants. You'll probably be able to see them better in the close-up shots, but these are Crassula Multicava. They're quite cute little plants. The leaves are quite chunky and remind me of sort of mature string of turtles leaves, because they have that kind of rounded button-like texture almost. Hopefully you know what I mean. But yeah, I got two of these. Faye, who's lazy that I got these from, actually had them in little sort of sauce pots. So the kind of paper ones that you get from McDonald's to put ketchup into, but I took them out of there and put them into this tiny little terracotta pot. I'm in cacti and succulent soil with lots of perlite, and they seem to be okay. But yeah, these Crassula are just really cute. The other plant that I got as part of the swap is this Echeveria. Again, Faye had loads of these, and I think she was more than happy to give one away. This is a Perle von Nürnberg Echeveria. It's lovely sort of grey, almost kind of pinkish tones, with sort of rounded leaves that have a little point at the end. This one is actually quite tall. You can see the stem on it, so I probably actually need to put this down in the soil a bit more. Again, this was in one of those little ketchup pots, so I just put it in a little plastic pot that I've got with the sort of cacti succulent soil mix with added perlite for drainage. The final two plants are from another local plant shop. The first one I got was this, which is a Fishbone Cactus. It's another one in a tiny little pot. I've clearly got something for small plants, but again, the smaller the plants are, the more that you can fit in. I think this is a lovely example of a Fishbone Cactus. You can see the kind of wobbly ridges on the edge of the leaves, and it's starting to trail really nicely. I've seen massive versions of these with the leaves sort of cascading down. Clearly mine isn't at that stage yet. I've just popped it in this little pink pot, which I got from Tesco, and it had a different plant in, but as always I've done a sort of pot switcheroo, and now this Fishbone Cactus is in there. I don't know if the name cactus is actually a bit of a misnomer, because I think these are found in rainforests rather than the sort of desert-like settings which I guess the sort of traditional cacti are from. The final plant I have to show you is this Calathea, and this is a Calathea beauty star. From the foliage you can definitely see how it got its name. It has similar colouring to my prayer plants, but the leaves themselves are still quite different. They're lovely dark green with sort of light green kind of splotches on, and then pink stripes that almost look painted on. This plant was £7.50, which probably a bit overpriced for what it is, but I like supporting local plant shops, and the leaves are so pretty that when I saw it I knew I really wanted it. I do need to find a pot for it because it's currently just in the plastic nursery pot, and I think I'll try and find a sort of pink one to play off the colouring in the leaves. It has quite a lot of leaves and plenty of new growth coming in, So hopefully I'll have a few more gorgeous leaves soon. So that's it. That's the 8 plants that I bought in September, early October. Not too many, but obviously I did buy that massive box of rooted and unrooted propagations from Poppet Plants, which you'll have hopefully seen in not my last video but the one before. So really I have had quite a lot of new plants recently. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing what plants I bought this month, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!